why information matters, and what are the 5 symptoms of information overload, how to hack back triggers of social media, apps, distractions, and also how to live a meaningful life without social media or actually with social media. I will start with the question, what is the most valuable thing in the world which cost, which has highest capital value? You might be thinking properties, companies, gold, or whatever. Even if you combine all of it, well, it's not going to compete. The thing with the highest capital value is human know-how. Yes, this is all the experiences, learning, education, information. But Diego Forte in the book How to Build a Second Brain, basically note-taking app, so it's talk about how to manage your information. That is why, he has to research in that way. So he says that human capital is estimated to be larger, 5 to 10 times larger than the US physical capital, which already worth $10 trillion. So reading just that, I was thinking, so many institutes, what is going on? Like, are we teaching just to teach that builds the capital? So are there any loopholes, blind spots, like too much general knowledge, irrelevant time and capital expenditure? Are we just creating more people with broader general knowledge and with no expertise at all? Because everybody is doing, irrelevant information. Social media, college academics, everybody is doing only to be later frustrated and pursue their own interests. So as I wonder, why is it so? Well, I realized that we are animals who learn by self, right? As Stephen Hawking says, that the rate of evolution that we pass through DNA genes, it is 1 bit of useful information per year, not per generation, per year. 1 bit is equals to useful information of A or B, yes or no. Simple as that. So this is a good analogy. Other than that, so we are lifelong learners. It's not just bare minimum education, which was college or school. We keep learning throughout our lives, our experiences, at whatever we are trying to be expert at. New things will be coming in your way. There will be ton of it. The AI thing, there will be many more changes in your life and you will be keep learning. There is no way out. To be relevant, you will be learning in your life. So of course the system has pros and cons. Rather than being an expert at early on, we are exposed to vast subjects just to spark more creativity, what's going on around the world, what are these physics, biology, chemistry, and the social sciences, what's going on. But we should be creating expertise in a particular field which gives expertise, stability. This is the pros and cons of the system, but I think if you are that expert, so once in a while you rather shift toward unusual readings, unusual material, maybe turn to fiction, or maybe I don't know, can we just try 80-20 principle over here? So 80% of your expertise in your field and 20% of some random other topics which could spark creativity. So all this just to prove that the greatest asset is our mind, because it can understand it, like process it, store it, and also it can generate even more information to share with the world, right? And that's the most valuable asset for our consciousness. But only it can generate the best output if the engine, that is mind, is healthy by a good grade of oil, that is information. You see where we are going? The information age. So the question really becomes how to filter the junk from the information to consume the best. For me, it has always been information means usefulness. But if it is not, it simply becomes, trash. Entertainment, let's call it infotainment. If it is a useless, basically junk information, let's it's just a data. Anything, it could be anything. To give you a best example, if there is something we inform on the call or anywhere, we inform quickly on the call, right? But we tell stories and extras, and just for entertainment we spend hours. Well, many are addicted and tired and want just intentional living, pure information. Well, it used to be, it is, but the great sources for offline books and signups for the gym, much of things. But today everything almost has turned into online. Much of, like, major chunk of information has turned online by information technology, IT. So because everything is online, so many apps and social media, you're watching this video and there will be a lot of it. And because social media is passive, you can keep listening, keep watching, doing the chores or anywhere, and you can leave the book or the person if it is boring or distracting, but you cannot leave social media, as the algorithm gives you the exact mental stimulant you want, and it reconditions what triggers you the next immediately at the moment. If I just refresh the page, boom, there are more. I call this the more looping effect, because there are so many patterns, and if you do once, you do twice, you want to do more of it. It is just a, I think it is a biology, it's a naturally, I call it the more looping effect. It's a very helpful one. Okay, just let's reset it. Okay, it was just a simple day in the past. It was just a single video or just an ad about an app or a video or anything, and you just clicked once out of curiosity or somebody suggested you, and after watching it once, you started watching more and more of it and more of it. If you could pause a video and think about an app that you use mostly, or people use it, it could be this YouTube or the general, I mean, pretty new apps relatively, TikTok, Insta, or many more, right? You see, these were just new, if you remember them. They started, now it is a daily integrated habit. People use it daily, whenever they can find time, regularly for hours. Like a virus, virus is inactive until it finds a host. Can you see people who are hacked by this algorithm, by this app's virus? Well, it is really irony that somehow the digital virus bug has been transferred to the biological human beings. Yeah, digital to biology. Well, it is a behavioral, thing, not a real virus. But anyways, so people who are affected by this virus, they exhibit these 5 symptoms, what I call, of doom scrolling. Well, this idea came from Jim Kwik, from his book Limitless, where he talked about the 4 horsemen of today's age. He was referring back to the historical biblical references, where it is written there are 4 bringers of apocalypse, that is conquest, war, famine, and death. And he also added the 5th one, depression. We will be talking about this exactly. So Jim Quick calls it, these are the 4 horsemen of our time. So we are calling it 5 symptoms of these digital doom scrolling. Well, these are digital deluge, digital distractions, digital dementia, digital detections, and also digital depression. In simple terms, digital deluge. Well, information overload and distractions, forgetfulness, and default thinking, including also depression. To define them, information overload. Our brains are drowning in more information every single day than our ancestors processed in a lifetime, leading to constant mental overwhelm. And the digital distractions, the endless ping of notifications, robbing us the ability to focus, deeply on meaningful work. Digital dementia, forgetfulness. In the book, he literally wrote some studies. The London taxi drivers, their hippocampus was larger because there are so many routes, streets. They have to remember that. Digital dementia, we are outsourcing our memories using Google Maps, smart devices. The mental muscles we need to learn and remember are actively shrinking. Well, digital deduction, default thinking, the argument was that the opinions you are trying to think or form, they are already available with one click of your devices. Rather than thinking, you're just searching what to think. Well, nowadays, even AI, which is, it's a global thing, and I think maybe we will be thinking the same thing, because at least there were different people on social media, the writers or the video makers, but now AI is shit. And digital depression, the constant comparison, isolation, and endless scrolling are silently draining our self-worth and emotional well-being. Well, historically, every human has faced these information overload and distractions, and also forgetfulness, including default thinking and depression. But this digitization has created so much accessibility, so huge that you are everywhere. With a phone, any devices, you can't escape it. That is why these are the huge problems. So in this video, we will be talking about these. We will try to solve the major two things which will have crazy effect on all of it. If we just reduce the information overload and also just getting less distracted, other things reduces by itself. So before we move on to hacking back, there are a few examples that I want to give that I have personally noticed. Overwatching as an addiction, perfectionism, analysis paralysis. You already know the information, but you keep watching it more and more. I think here, if you apply the mental model, like if you're researching or whatever, up to 60%, learn up to 60%, and then you can take a decision. If it is over, that's analysis paralysis. The second example of just watching is comfort zone. Because the change is hard, we just keep watching same shit, shallow level talks, rather than great lectures. Third example of just being addicted to watching, I will ask you a question. Imagine if there is a guy or girl and you ask them, would you like to watch or would you like to play? I am sure they will say, we would like to play. But if you have noticed around yourself, many are addicted to just watching. I mean, even if you have it, many people have the games, many people have the tech, but they don't use it. They just watch it because on the video it seems the thumbnails or titles are they are designed in a way, oh, there's something new, there will be something interesting. Even it is same thing literally written, but it's just what's new in there. That's a trap, just a more addiction. People watch games, people watch same videos, tech videos. So how to have a healthy knowledge, useful information in information overload age? Well, there are a few must nots and musts to do. Well, you got to run away from being on autopilot. Okay, you got to search, move to search. Don't just rely on algorithm. You are research specific, and also you have to make sure that you are learning from in-depth sources, experts, and on social media, but on other things. There are books and other things too. Avoid watching shorts. Depth matters. Okay. And third thing, decide and act. These three rules, if you follow, see, search instead of just jumping on the app. I think YouTube is better. It also recommends, but you have a little choice in terms of selecting videos. But Instagram or TikTok, you just click it and boom, there is another video. So you are instantly hooked, right? They are beyond attention grabbers technology. So these are too bad, right? I have never been in a situation where I am doom scrolling TikToks or even YouTube shorts. Somehow I never began doing it. The second thing, that you watch in-depth videos, not shorts. There were a few research which says that you are training your brain more and more to forget it because you're just scrolling, forgetting. So try to, watch in-depth content because context matters. If you're watching this long video, your brain gradually changes because there are not just tactics, you are also listening why I am saying so. There are examples, there are metaphors. It changes your mind gradually. And third thing, it is important, decide and act. Okay, you consume the information, but some much of it is useless. Okay, if there is a useful, decide and act. Make a schedule. Okay, on this day, on that time, I may think about it, I might do it, but often it is useless. For example, if you consume news and you are feeling too much bad, oh, things are going on in the world, war is going on, or whatever it is, some stocks are plunging or whatever, you feel negative emotions, some survival mode. Much of it is useless. Even something seems useless. For example, there is a guy who is watching YouTube videos trying to learn investing, trading. What if he does not has money? It is irrelevant. So often we watch videos which are driven by algorithm and we are hooked into them, and then we feel misaligned, mismatched, our thinking changes and we are confused. Why? It is not relevant to our life. Well, so far we have talked about mindset shifts, just to change behavior. Let's move on to the hacking back triggers or settings, environment design. You have heard out of sight, out of mind. What if the very things which are making you triggered does not exist, or at least are hidden? For example, if you are using YouTube on phone, if you click on it, then you can make a widget to search it. So whenever you click on YouTube, this is not showing you anything except to search. And if you are on the desktop side, I mean for phones too, you can use extensions. Yeah, PC has extensions, so many for any app, and you can just tweak here and there. You can skip the shorts, you can hide the feed, you can do many things, man. Because it is a browser extension, so I search why not there are extensions on the phone browsers. So while Chrome does not support it, there are many other browsers, Microsoft Edge, Firefox. You can see there are a few browsers who support extensions on the phone. You can try these. So you can just hide the feed, you can hide suggested videos. It will be awesome. The most important thing is that it's not about just app setting or extensions, but how habitually you use your phone. Sometimes we pick up the phone and I don't know where we end up. So how are you using habitually on autopilot? So there are great settings on the phones. You can mute notifications, you can silent the phone, turn off alerts. I mean, it's not about just at a moment, but default. Turn on forever. On the Android, there's a digital well-being. That is awesome, man. There's a focus mode. There is a do not disturb mode. In the do not disturb mode, there are no calls, nothing. So I just customize it just to allow the calls. Nothing else, just SMS and calls to be allowed. So still, I have not allowed it to pop up the banners. It will be shown if I just scroll down in the notification center and no other notification will be sent unless I click to turn off the focus mode or do not disturb mode. There are many more. I mean, recent also was screen time reminders. If I am on any app, they just remind me how much time it has passed every 5 minutes, 15, 20, 25. Every 5 minutes they will remind me. It is awesome. If I am using for good, it makes me feel good. And if it is useless, of course you will feel whatever you want to feel. Well, other than extensions on browsers on phone or PC or these default settings, you can also download apps. Maybe they're available on PC but also on phones. Like there are minimalistic apps which do not show icon or anything, making phone little bit more boring, of course, with monocolors and all these things. There are a lot of things if you just try to do it. So how do you consume most, of the social media? Maybe it is by notifications, or you just click and go to the feed. I think I did, and go to the widget icon for the search. But if it is notification, I mean, not only turn off, but also go to YouTube itself, turn off notifications, or go to personalize, only if it is relevant to you. I also started doing a watch later thing. I will watch one day. You know what happened? Watch later got just full, 5,000 maximum videos, and I made another one, and I made another one. Useless. So I am deleting it now, alright, because it is useless. So now you can make, see, there is an Eisenhower Matrix. You can search it, or if you find it, any, you don't have to go watch it or put it to watch later. Put into, if it is important and urgent, put into this. If it's important one day, I just put in the watch later. Click on the watch later. And if it is just entertainment, so third is just, useless. If it is, very urgent, it's like a news type or thing that Trump did, or the politics or anything. You'll find days later it's useless in the watch later, or also in the entertainment side, because you can just make a third playlist which is infotainment or just an urgent thing. I have made these three playlists. So often what happens, I go to first one often, or second is just it's a might thing, I might watch it or not, and third is useless, basically just to put into playlist. If it gets full 5,000 of it, one day it will be deleted. And also try to watch longer videos, skip videos, fast forward, speed up videos. Just make sure you're watching high quality long videos. Imagine if I tried making short videos of this video, how many I could have created. This will be breakthrough for you if you try for a week, for a couple of days. And whenever you try click on YouTube, you are not hooked, but you are searching for specific entertainment, for specific intention. You are just intentional. Maybe there are a few problems, you are solving it. Why not? Or if you are just having a meal, a quick meal, or just having a meal, you don't want to decide or think, you will always go to first or second playlist. It will be good. You're not scrolling. So I think this is a better way to understand and use these tools. Tools can be good or bad, and use it for progress, progressive mindset, rather than stopping, or most cannot do it for the long term. They again go back and habits. These are habits too. You have to form the new habits now. You can also make many rules of your own. On a specific day, you might use this or not, or on a specific time of the day, or during your meals, which apps you will use or which you will not use. You may try no phone zone, or maybe you are using phone, but you will decide, I will not consume news, tech videos, or games, or whatever. It is your own choices, create your own habits. Now ask yourself a real question. Do you really want to optimize for useful thing, for useful information? Or actually there's a missing bigger puzzle that you are trying to solve, and that is, maybe you are actually searching for the valuable activity in your life. Activities in life which feels good, which just feels good, which feels meaningful, which feels purposeful, right? See, managing social media is a freaking lie if it is too much. See, if it is too much, means you got to manage it, which means your life is boring. Yeah. See, in my life, I have noticed, if I have worked in a day good amount, and if I turn to social media, even if I watch entertainment, anything, I feel satisfied. But if I watch more of it, I will turn to, knowledge side, informative side, podcasts, something more knowledgeable. The idea is that you will only turn to more social media or optimize it only you're not enjoying your life. There is not much going on in your life. We technically do it for enjoyment, for passive experience, and intelligence. Favorite procrastination secret, that is to know more. Yeah, to learn more, to know more. See if you have done from entertainment to knowledgeable thing, and that knowledge, that podcast or that knowledgeable experience, it seems addictive than the real life, than the real work you do on your day, then that's a sign, man. You should change activities itself rather than passive watching. Move to real life progress, move to actionable insights. And if you are watching too much, you probably feel little bit bad. And if in any activity, if it is a bad and you are feeling bad, you are just, thinking of not doing it, it means it is a cognitive dissonance, which means your brain is conflicting because your values and beliefs for good to leave social media, to avoid that bad addiction or habit, their value is way more higher. And I mean, congratulations, man, for feeling bad, for doing bad. You know why? Because you put those good things, avoiding them at higher level. So your good beliefs are stronger. But this is called cognitive dissonance. Actually, I'm going to tell you a short story about it. It is named by Leon Festinger. So they saw an ad in the newspaper that there was an apocalyptic cult ran by Marion Keach, a woman. They used to pray to the aliens, and they believed on the day of apocalypse they will be saved and the world will be destroyed. So they find it interesting about belief system, and the death was near, so they thought, why not go in disguise, see what happens. And after the death passed, what they realized is that the people did not go away even after the nothing happened, but their belief got stronger. You know why? Because they started to believe that they not only saved themselves, but everybody. They saved the world. So the thing is that the cognitive dissonance, if you are feeling bad, what happens is that either you change the perception or you change the behavior. If you are into a bad habit and you are feeling bad, you should you should change the behavior. Your body, your mind want to make it better. It wants to feel good as it is. So if you don't accept it, you change the behavior. Or eventually, if you keep trying that, you will, eventually accept it. In a cognitive dissonance, you change the behavior or change the perception. But mostly it is actually the behavior. Even if you sometimes feel bad doing good, eventually you will accept it. So use it to your advantage. I have a mental model which says emotions are body's wisdom. They are call to an action. So whenever you feel something bad, just remind yourself, yeah, oh man, you got to align to your goals and vision. So you got to move on to actions because your biology literally signals, oh, I am hacked or it is boring. Do something else, right? So it is confused between A or B. Just do it. Yeah, it is biologically evolutionary. You have to move on to something interesting. And I know you will be wondering if I am feeling bad, but I cannot start the work. If you are procrastinating, which feels bad starting the work, I would say it's not the procrastination. Procrastination is really a mode regulation. So if you're procrastinating, not starting work, it's not that. If you start working, you will be relieved. You will feel that stress is going away. But you know why it happens? So well, you have associated a lot of negative emotions with the tasks. Yeah, you are thinking negative, maybe effortful, maybe something else, but it is your focus is on negative side. On the other hand, whenever anybody in the world is motivated, even though he has to go through sweats and work, but he's motivated, he's good. Why? Because the simple focus is just on the positive side. It is rewards. Yep, that is the difference. So over time, remember the I talked about more looping effect. So the more you procrastinate because of the bad emotions, the more you want to procrastinate to avoid it. And now, if you are trying to start that work, go for it, man. Initially, try to make it positive. I mean, if there is a little progress, reward yourself, be happy. Okay, initially. I mean, just go make it positive. And second thing is that don't interpret emotions wrong. You know, the biggest mistake people do, sometimes I have done too in my life. Whenever things are not working, make sure you do not turn to self. Okay? Turn to methods, turn to processes. So if things are not working, never go to self. Self is the most destructive thing. If you talk about, I can't do it, maybe I am not made for this, or things like that, always go to processes, methods. This is a growth mindset, which is just turning the processes, methods. Ask yourself, okay, how to improve it? What should I do next? What experiment should I try? If you have that mindset, on the not self, but on the processes side, remember, talking about self, we are equal human beings. We have same, almost, everybody's almost same. So it's just a mindset. Keep it positive. On the other hand, things are not working. Don't go to self. Go to methods. Change methods, tactics, strategies. A growth mindset would be like, okay, life is unfolding for me, and these are my challenges, and I have to surpass it. There are many things, and now we will be talking about a few essentials. See, this little shift in your mind can do a lot of different things. So you have to also define purpose and values. It will be quick. You can take a little bit time later. See, you will achieve whatever you set mind to. So there are a few questions. Just clarify a little bit of target, so you are not confused going here and there. You're going straight, whatever you want. Okay. Purpose is just a small target, small to big, just to make your life align to where you are going. So the first question is, what I want in my life. What do I want to experience in my life? There are a lot of things, man. The follow-up question, what should I do regularly to reach at that level? Which person do I become? Daily, what to do to experience that in the future? Third question, what will be the impact, the contribution that I will be making to the world, to the society, neighborhoods, or maybe how about your family? I mean, what the family you define, the people you love, what will be impact in their life? What you could bring them? Notice the positivity. Now we move on to values. Again, making it quicker. Believe it or not, you always value something. You're valuing something without knowing it or knowing it. So write down what you have been doing regularly in a month, weeks, or days. Whatever you have been doing, just write it down. Anything you have been doing, any tasks. Now, rank them. Like, what is the most valuable? Rank it up, you know, from make the most valuable at the top. Now, the third question, how would you change it now with your purpose, right? You want to achieve that. In according to that, how your values should look like from top to bottom. You skip the bottom, just go on the best, the top, the most valuable ones. And yeah, values are thrown around everywhere. Values are a code, a personal rules, but it's not just, kindness or honesty or whatever. Values are not something you have. Values are something you do. Okay. So if you value, let's say, one of my values are consciousness. So I define it as being grounded in the reality and truth. There are things in life, they are just illusion. They are not reality. That's not the end. It's not something you have, it's something you do. So if it is an honesty or this consciousness thing, I cannot measure it. So what does it look like in practice? Well, for the consciousness, for example, is now it's abstract. It's not something I value family time that I will be, scheduling half an hour or an hour to giving my family, but it is an abstract, like honesty. So you will be, you know, scheduling it, try to understand it consistently. For example, consciousness. If I choose consciousness, I will be willing to spend a little bit of time every now and then, maybe a weekly, maybe a monthly, just to make sure that I am living in reality, like with my own definition, at least I am aligned to it. Then gradually, but eventually, if you take action, you will create a net positive impact in this world. And you will earn, of course, people pay you for your services. If you create products, they will, you know, pay you for the products and your invested time. And yeah, if you have done previous exercises and just if there is a little bit doubt, I would also like to top up with another exercise. What are you afraid of? Notice, if you never do it, what will be the cost? What will be the regrets? What will be the suffering? And what if the fear that you have, what if you just surpass that? Is the fear that big enough? Then the rewards? Think about it. Notice the rewards, notice the vision you are living if you took action. What will be the future? And if you never take action, what will be your life? And believe it, you can achieve it for sure. And if you want to talk about and interact on live calls about these very concepts, then you can go to XBeings Patreon and you can find there. Because recently there are no members right now, it's kind of a loophole. If the live calls will be literally maybe not for few, but only one on one, because almost there is no one right there. Maybe the for the initial members, that's a loophole. See you there. Well, if you are watching this video till now, there is a bonus for you. So Jim Kwik in the book Limitless does not talk about this much about these things. Well, in the digital deluge, he talks about actually note taking and speed reading, which were our early videos, and digital distractions. He says, schedule it. He says, calm your busy mind. Try to focus. Try to train your focus for longer, and do something that causing you worry. If it is you're worrying about something, literally schedule that to worry about later. So you are focused on work right now. But digital dementia, forgetfulness. So he just gave few memorization techniques which were good. Well, on to actual, if I talk about actual dementia, which happens after, you know, in the older people after 50, 60, they become more susceptible. So for that, please try to, take care of your body and brain, exercise, and most importantly, challenge the actual research which says that if you want to uh, reduce dementia, forgetfulness, you have to actually do some challenging tasks. You know, people do some maths problem, people do businesses, it's a good thing. And people who are at home, like housewives, etc., they have to be in challenging mentally, maybe reading or trying to understand something deep problem solving, which will be helpful. So digital detection, default thinking, Jim Quick in there actually gave few methods like six head thinking, things like these methods. But if we talk about if deductions are happen mostly on social media, if you are isolated and alone, in any case, well, there are three things. So even if people are so much isolated in the cells, in the jail, or anywhere, even if you're too much at home, very isolated, to protect your sanity, you need to do three things: exercise, the most important thing, then reading, and third thing, writing, journaling, writing. Okay, so these three things keep you sane if you're isolated, if you're alone, maybe so much away. And if you're a completely normal person, you must do it. I mean, it has a crazy level of benefits for again keeping you sane. And also, if you're isolated, just I would like to say go out. I know, even if you don't have friends, be confident in your appearance or whatever. Just schedule your time in the day, evening, whatever. when you're too much isolated, alone, maybe at home, you are not willing to go out. So please just go out, it will be fun. You can't find friends, go alone in the park, go for the walk.